We're back for another week for Saints Talk, the official podcast of NewOrleans.Football. You guys are looking for the absolute best Saints content on the web, and I'm not playing around with you. Go to NewOrleans.Football/subscribe. Pick a tier that works best for you, and you can get everything you need. Film study. The film study is up for this week. Me and Nick was
boom, boom,
looking
boom,
at
boom, 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 boom. Starting them with the Griselda, man.
Hey, man, look. I've been waiting for Fowler to catch one pass this season. Like, I got that tweet waiting, bro.
There's like 6 people listening that just picked up that reference. But hey, it was worth it for them,
we
man.
lost a couple of listeners. Yeah, we got like 6 people that like are listeners for life, and then we lost a few.
Yeah, everybody else is gone right now.
Yeah, that first mini Fowler catch, I'm tweeting it out, and you guys just be ready for it. So,
man.
This is a Griselda-friendly podcast. Sorry, guys. Make sure you guys go to Saints Talk. Pick a tier that works best for you. There's a lot of different options. Make sure you follow NewOrleans.Football on Twitter, NODLT Football. Make sure you follow the New Orleans Football Instagram account. 5-star ratings. Follow Nick on Twitter at Nick_on_the-hill. Follow me on Twitter at Kevin Marsh Jr. I think that's my handle. Yeah, Kevin Marsh Jr. All that good stuff, man. Just support. I think, that's the nice thing to do, man. If everybody did a little bit of good, the world would be a better place. So that's a good way to start. We here, man. We here. Win, lose. Anywhere it goes, we still got to do this thing. And it's been a rough couple of weeks for the Saints, man. So you wrote your film study, and you guys can go to the website and check that out. We're not going to rehash the entire thing, but we're just going to hit a few points about the game, and and we're going to kind of just break down some of the guys who may have looked bad, who are maybe not playing as well, and just kind of hit the obvious stuff. So we ain't gonna dodge none of these topics. We're gonna get into them, and we're gonna start with the most obvious one: the quarterback. That is the talk of the NFL right now in a lot of ways. I mean, Cam Jordan is on the Rich Eisen show doing interviews, getting asked about it. And some of it is fair, some of it maybe it's not. So Nick, floor is yours. What's going on with Drew Brees, and is the talk fair or is it not?
Man, I'm just ready for Mike Thomas to come back and for everything to look okay, because I'm so tired of talking about him, man. I'm tired of talking about him.
Yeah, me too, man.
If he would have played this game in week 1, I think that the conversation would be pretty muted. It wasn't his best game by any means.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he still has a lot that he needs to do to look like Drew Brees. But
yeah,
this was a good enough game to where if he was coming out, it would be like, Mike Thomas is gone. It's a little bit,
right.
It's a little bit out of sync. No preseason, older guy, he'll round into shape. And I don't think anybody would be too worried about this one. There's still some inaccuracies. The screen, the Taysom Hill, the shield screen on 3rd down was a little bit high. Little things like that. But I mean, that, like, again, if this was like the very first game, that would be like extreme nitpicking. Like, it's like one throw that was a little off, and then he had another one on the move that was a little inaccurate.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of the thing with him too, is the pocket mobility is really one of the things to watch. They need to keep things perfect around him. But I think that's probably been true for a while. We're still doing this thing where people are picking out, the passes he isn't throwing down the field.
Every single, if you go back to 2013, you're going to find those. I mean, I think that's a little bit, like, I mean, quarterbacks misreads, right?
I don't even know if he misreads, like they talked about the cover 2. I just think, like, week after week, the looking at the stuff down the field, it's just, look, I mean, like they haven't, Drew doesn't throw down he isn't Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't have the arm to throw down the field against cover 2. He hasn't done it in years. He attempted 5 passes over 15 yards down the field last year against cover 2, hit on 1. He tried 5 down the field the year before against cover 2, hit on 3. He tried 14 the year before that, hit on 5. I mean,
so this is an old talking point. That's
right. It's tired.
Life, basically.
Yeah, Drew has not been able to throw down the field against cover 2 in 4 years.
It's not going to happen.
He tried to do it in 2016. The percentages were bad. I mean, and really, like, their whole offense, like, if you look at a lot of the stuff, like the corner routes down the field, like everything, it was like they were still attempting it in 2016, and the efficiency just drove right off the cliff. And it's like, oh, well, let's trade Brandon Cooks for a 1st-round pick and stop doing this stuff because it don't work no more.
It don't work no more.
Yeah.
The ball isn't coming out any different than it's been the last few years. Drew's never been, like you said, the past few years, he hasn't been throwing the ball downfield. So I just don't see the ball coming out that much differently before. I think it's the other things. And what I think happens is, the media national media, because they're not watching snap after snap of coaches' film. They're just not, right? I just refuse to believe it. And so, you're seeing this notion, okay, old quarterback, it must be the arm, it's the downfield thing, and it's group thing. When the reality is you need to kind of like peel back the onion a little bit and see that, a lot of this stuff is timing. They're not getting the ball to the guys within the rhythm of the offense. The ball is not coming out as it should. And there are some plays that I'm the first one to say it, there's some inaccurate throws that I've seen that I was like, oh, that's a little weird. I'm a little worried. And the first week, they were a little too many for me. Second week, there were less. And third week, there were less. So, I think you can say that it's gotten better. There's a case to be made for that, but it's still not enough. And at the end of the day, that's what I think it is. And, I think it's, kind of goes to the offense as a whole, right? I thought there were some things this game that they got away from. I thought they got away from the run game this game, and the game never got out of hand from, on the scoreboard, and they were able to run the ball pretty well against the Packers. And I thought that was something that they kind of got away from. So,
well, they changed their approach. They weren't every box they were running against, like in the first half was basically, or the first quarter was basically 6 or less. They started mixing some 7 guys into the box in the second quarter. Then in the second half, like almost every run was against a heavy box. So they started throwing the ball more. So they forced them into an adjustment and then kind of opened it up so it would be easier for Brees to pass. And that's kind of why they went away from the run a little bit. I mean, there's an argument to be made that like you should have just kept hammering it. And
I think at some point you gotta. Yeah, I'm a believer in. And look, I get what you're saying, and I agree with it. And I do think that if the box is too full and the play in the pass is there, then do it. But I do think that with Drew, there has to be some run game. I think that, good run teams run the ball against 8 in the box. I mean, they do, right? And you got a running back that can make a couple of guys miss. So I get it. I understand.
I mean, when you're throwing the ball 3 yards through the air, every pass, it's all run game, man.
I guess that's a run. Yeah, I guess that's a run. That's fair, man. That's fair. But I just think it's something to it. It's something to, I think the Saints, they need to slow these games down a little bit. I think, you don't want to get your defense out there. I remember against the Raiders, I was really worried about the defense playing too many snaps. And it kind of started looking like that in this game a little bit, and it kind of backed off a little bit. But, that's just a way to keep those snaps down and keep the clock moving. And I just think it's something that they're going to have to do, because Drew, and you make this point last week, and that's why I'm making this point, he's not going to carry the entire load, right? So as many things that you can get around him to help him out, run game, good receivers, great block, I think it all needs to come together to kind of, assist him, because he's not the guy that's going to carry the team no more. So I think the play calling is still trying to find its groove. I do not think that that's something that's been a strength for them so far this year neither. So it's just a lot that's going on with the team. It's not no one thing. It's not just one. It's not just Drew. It's not just Mike being gone. It's just a lot of different things that are kind of coming to the head. And I think that they're going to, they're going to have to get over this stuff, or they're going to continue to lose games, because I said it before and I got killed for it, but I still stand beside it that the Saints are not a good football team right now. That doesn't mean they're not going to become a good football team. They may blow Detroit out this week and win the rest of their games. I don't know, but right now they are what their record are, and that's a 1-2 team, and they're not playing good football right now.
I honestly didn't have a huge issue with the offensive play calling in this one. I thought it was fine. I think going away from the run, like they got behind after they were trying to run Taysom fumbles. They get behind, so you're basically throwing the ball the rest of the way. I thought it was pretty efficient. There was almost a rope-a-dope effect really through the first half. It felt like they were hiding Brees, but like everything else was working so well, there was no need to. And then when he needed to, pull out the short passes, like they were there and they got him going a little bit. I think the shield screen is something that you could maybe argue with a little bit, but it probably would have been an effective play if Emmanuel Sanders hadn't blown a block. I mean, I guess you could say maybe Emmanuel Sanders shouldn't be there playing.
I'm like, I was wondering on that play, why is Traquan not lined up on that side of the field? I that kind of threw me off a little bit. I didn't understand that one because Traquan was he was down and Sanders was up. So, and I'm pretty sure there's a reason for it, but I just think you want your best block on a crucial third down out there. So,
yeah, I mean, I probably would have rather had Taysom blocking that, for Sanders as opposed for Sanders blocking it for Taysom. But I mean, the way that game was going, it was basically get the ball to Alvin and like he needs to make guys miss. And that was basically the the passing game for a while until, they went into cover 6 prevent late in the game, and like Drew was kind of picking them apart a little bit.
I thought
But
formationally they kind of gave that play up a little bit too. I mean, I saw how they came out, and I was like, oh gosh, this is an Alvin Kamara screen pass up top, and I'm pretty sure the defense saw it the same way. But those guys, they just didn't get off. I mean, they didn't hold their blocks either, right? I mean, Alvin Sanders did not holding his blocks, so I guess that sometimes you got to win the play when they know it's coming out. Maybe that's one of those examples.
yeah, I mean, defensively, that's really where I think,
But
coming out of
one more before you go to defense. There's one thing that, and I want your opinion on it, because I think it's something that I'm kind of seeing around the league. So I watched some of the better offensive football teams. I watched the Chiefs. I watched the Ravens. I've looked at Seattle some, and you see the structure of their plays break down quite a bit, right? There's a lot of plays that, Russell Wilson drops back and it's not there, and he makes the play with his feet. There's a lot of plays where you see Mahomes is ridiculous good at this. I think Russell Wilson is quarterback one right now. He does it better. We know Lamar Jackson. And so I think the Saints are at a pretty big disadvantage there, because in the NFL, you're just seeing that more and more, and defenses are doing different things. And I feel like with the Saints, if the structure of the play isn't there, this year more so it seems like than before, is like the play is over, right? It's a negative play where they just don't have that extra dimension of being able to create a play when the play is broken. That's becoming more, relevant in the NFL right now. And so just if you disagree with it, it's fine. But what's your thoughts on it? I just feel like that's an important thing to have in this current NFL, and the Saints don't have it. I think that's something that's kind of hurting them a little bit.
maybe a little. I don't know that you need to be able to get outside of the pocket and do all the rollout stuff like Brees, how he used to be able to navigate the pocket and dodge stuff within it and keep plays alive like that without ever leaving the tackle box. I think
Right.
it's fine. Like you can be good and do that and not
Absolutely.
necessarily be, way outside of the tackles, outside the hashes, doing all the Mahomes stuff, the Russell Wilson stuff. You don't even need to be able to roll out like Rodgers, but you do have to be able to buy that extra half second, that
That's
extra
exactly what
second.
I'm saying. Yeah.
And he used to be elite at doing that. But I mean, look, he's old now. I mean, like that's one of the things that has gone. That's one of the things you can point at. And I think once you get him moving, and I've seen maybe 2 or 3 throws this year where he's gotten his feet moving and hasn't had enough time to get into the full stance. And then you see him sped up and it looks like total panic. The ball's coming out horrible. And those are the plays where you're like, man, he's he's old.
Right.
And that isn't coming back. That isn't going to get better.
Right.
But if they can keep the protection good around him, everything, it can work. He can still move the ball. He can connect on his passes. It's just, and I think this has been true for a few years now. I just think that the margin of error is really small with the way that they have to play.
What I'm saying. I think that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I mean, you got to keep the pocket right for him, and that's fine. He'll get the ball out quickly, especially when Mike Thomas is there. That's basically another. Mike's like another form of pass protection, in a way, because he's there and he's going to be open quickly.
He misses Mike, man. Oh
big time.
God. I mean, I text you the other day. I said Saints without Drew Brees 5-0. Saints without Mike Thomas 0-2. So, but yeah,
here's the thing about where Brees is at though. Once they jumped off sides on that third down, and you knew it was all right, they're going to score a touchdown here. It's just he's not going to
he's not going to wing it out.
I mean, and it's been a while since I felt man, he's not going to be able to move the ball down the field and get. There was enough time too for it to happen, but it's just not there anymore.
It's not there no more. Yeah. I'm with you. And like I said, it doesn't have to be. You're not going to scramble and make guys miss and beat guys to the edge. And that, but I do think when things are not lined up as they should be, being able to improvise on the fly. Because Drew was a great pocket athlete, man. I mean, he was probably one of the top 2 in the league. It's just being an athlete inside the pocket and just being able to navigate a little bit. And, without that being there, if the play isn't drawn up perfectly, and you said it best, the margin of error is reduced, significantly. And so things have to be that much perfect. But, I do think there are some good things that could come out of this game. I think Emmanuel Sanders, finding him just touching the ball a little bit, I feel like that's something that could, that you can maybe build off of a little bit. So, I feel like they played at times. They look better offensively in this game than they looked this season. And so I just think they got to build upon that. And yeah, we'll see. But all right, to the defense. Let's go. Let's hear your thoughts.
I mean, it was rough. It was rough,
man.
I mean, and it's, you know, really, I understand like the offensive struggles. I you know, there's things that I can see and I understand it. The defensive stuff I'm struggling with. I'm struggling to understand it. I mean, the way this offseason went, it was, they have a veteran team. They can come out here. They don't have the preseason, reduced offseason. No big deal. This sets up for them. They should be better than that.
Right.
There's chemistry, continuity. They know how to communicate. All this stuff. It's gonna, you know, the Saints are gonna be rolling, and it's just like they can't do anything that requires any amount of teamwork really on the defensive side of the ball. Like, you can't defend a bootleg.
Man, those are killer.
Your responsibilities in zone are a mess. Like, there's no communication there. Anything that requires a switch is just not going to work right now. And this is the stuff that should be easy for them. Like, these guys should almost be at a point where it's just, they've been through all these things together. Like, you shouldn't even have to talk. You should just see it and know how to do it. And like, it just isn't there. And
why is your cornerback busting coverages on cover 4, right? I mean, it's just,
he's having a hard time, man. Like, the first game against Mike Evans was outstanding. Like,
right.
The next 2 games, like, you know, what's going on? Like, I don't understand it. And, you know, it's something he talked about this offseason. Like, he struggles to get up for, you know, these matchups against, you know, wide receivers. He doesn't, you know, deem, I don't know how else to put it. Like, he basically, you know, doesn't, you know, deem
they
worthy.
make the Pro Bowl, but they're not worthy of him being, yeah.
Right. And it's just like, you have to play. The word he said is he has to play everyone like Julio. Well, like that didn't happen right now. And that makes it really tough for the defense when you have a guy that's legitimately talented enough to be the most shut down corner in the NFL, and he's just not doing it every
week.
It
happening? Is it just zone, or is it happening in man and zone? Like, is there any?
Well, in this game it was zone. You know,
it was zone in this game.
Yeah. I think previously, you know, it's been both. You know, and it's just like, look, I get it. Like, you're the genius in you know, 7th grade algebra, and it's not challenging enough, and you're looking out the window and daydreaming, but like,
you're losing games because of it, though.
Yeah, you got to pass the test. You have to pass the test, and you know, right now, like, it's, you know, he's got to be locked in every week, and you know, hopefully he figures out a way to do that. Hopefully this is, you know, maybe he needed one to get, you know, some smelling salts, and he comes
when Devontae Adams got hurt, I was like, that's a loss.
Yeah, look, I expect him to be awesome this week. Like, Galladay's a
beast. Yeah, Galladay's a beast. Yeah, I mean, it's.
Like, maybe they should just match him on someone every single game. And
I think they should do. If I'm
sink or swim on your own, man. And like, I think he would swim every time. I do, but
yeah. I hate to say this, but you don't want to limit what you can do schematically and defensively. But if these guys are struggling in their zone coverages, and you know, I mean, this has happened before. I mean, you know, at some point you gotta just take a step back from that. And I know it limits you defensively, but you know, you can't be giving up. I don't know how many yards this Lazard kid has, but you know, he's probably going to the Pro Bowl this year off of that game, right? And so, you know, that just
come on, man.
Man, they made him look all pro.
Come on, man.
They made that dude look all pro. Like,
oh man,
that guy's gonna watch the film from this game for the rest of his career, right? I mean, you can't have an undrafted free agent smoking your secondary like that unless his name is Adam Thielen, who, you know, that's my point, right? You can't, like, these things can't happen. These things can't happen. You can't have your top 3 corner when he wants to be going against an undrafted free agent and that matchup being an L. And I'm not saying he was following God. I'm not blaming it all on this on Marshawn. That long play, the safety made a mistake too, you know, but the standard for him is high. Right? I expect him to, when someone throws the ball to him, the expectation is that the ball is not completed. That's the type of player that he's put himself up to be, and that's what the expectation is. And so I think it's fair to call out a player who you expect to be great and they're not being great. And
the only games where he should be giving up yards are the games where he doesn't give up yards. You know what I, like, and it's crazy that you look at it. It's just like,
yeah, man.
You know, like, DeAndre Hopkins can get yards against him, and you're like, oh, it's DeAndre Hopkins. Like, but he did really good against him. Julio can get yards against him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mike Evans, no shame in Mike Evans catching a pass on you at all. I mean,
but
it's
Lazard,
crazy.
No. No.
Look, and maybe this is his breakout year, and this is the thing that catapults him this game, and like this is the beginning, like everybody's seeing how great he is or whatever. But like, nah, man,
No, bro. You got to take this guy and erase him. And that's the thing. I think they just need to. You need to figure out what you have with this guy. This is his fourth year in the league, right? So we need to know. Like they're still busted coverages in year 4 in the same scheme, right? So something's wrong with that. And I just think that if that doesn't change, then it's just it's a little weird, man. It's a little weird. The expectations are high. They're high for him, and I think the secondary as a whole. I mean, they've Malcolm had a rough game against the Raiders. He seemed to play really well in this game, other than that one play where he let the ball, he kind of bit on the run and, the ball got behind him when he should have had coverage over the top. But I think just as a whole, the secondary they've underachieved this year. And that's supposed to be the strength of this team is they're not hurt. Everyone's available. PJ missed one game with a hamstring and they won it. They're underperforming this year. They're underperforming and, it's hurting the team. Go ahead.
Straight up, I look bad with them. I've been talking about them all summer about like how good they were going to be, and they really were good all summer, and they should be good. Look, I think Janoris Jenkins' coverage has been outstanding. He's got a 51 passer rating against. It's the penalties. Like
got that Ken Crawley gene, bro.
Yeah, and they're so untimely, and exactly like you can't find the ball. And the one against the Raiders, like that was. Ooh. Look, these are like it's an uncatchable ball, and I thought it was Marcus Williams in this game, right?
Marcus Williams.
In this one on the sideline. And then last week, the deep one, Jenkins hooked the arm, and I didn't think that was catchable either. Right. But, like, look, you're the Saints. You aren't getting calls. Like, I'm not even, like – I have no bias here. Like, it's just real. Like, if you're the Saints and you put an opportunity in the hands of the officials, it's on you at this point because you are not getting the calls.
That game was a badly officiated game, too.
It was. But, like, you – Look, you got to catch the ebbs. As soon as it's the ebbs and flow. And if you're the Saints, you have to assume every game is going to be officiated poorly against you. And you aren't getting away with anything. And you test the waters maybe a little. And as soon as you find out, get your foot out. Like you can't do it. And I mean, it's just something that you got to know at this point. Like there's enough there that you have to assume that they are not going to be friendly to you. And that's just the way it is. And, this was a poorly officiated game. And it
was a poorly played game by the secondary. So on both ends, yeah.
I mean, Marcus Williams. I don't think he's playing as good as he has. I thought Malcolm, like you said, I thought he was pretty bad against the Raiders. I think this was a good bounce back game. If
he was everywhere this game.
If you watch it, he made a lot of plays. That like
he was playing like he had a bad game the last game.
Like you said, that 48-yarder, like he was out of position, but like he wasn't the primary. Like he still should have been there. Like he still looked bad on the play. Yeah,
you're the safety. The ball shouldn't go over your head if you're the safety, especially when you're the only safety. There's only one receiver on that side of the field, right? And your coverage is clear. He bit hard on the run, and the safeties do have extra run coverage in cover 4, but he should have been over the top. But again, that Marshawn should have, and he and the thing about it is, it wasn't like he just like lost to the guy. Like if a guy lines up in front of you and he just beats you on the route, okay, that happens. That happens, right? But the fact, I don't know if his eyes were in the backfield. He wasn't paying attention. I don't know, but the guy got off the snap and he was a couple of steps late and the play's over, right? Aaron Rodgers sees that instantly. So, like, your primary responsibility there is the receiver. It has to be because that's what the scheme calls for. So to get caught slipping and, I'm not saying it's lazy because I don't want to ever call a player lazy because that's an accusation, but it's just, it was a mental slip, and those are the type of things that are killing the team. And the Saints are beating themselves, man.
It's not just him though. The whole team's mentally slipping in various ways. Yeah. Like that's the hallmark of this team right now is that they're mentally slipping. Whether it's in coverage,
Cam Jordan offsides on third down.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. It's just all over the place. It's just it's not on point, and it's surprising, frankly. The good thing is that I still think the secondary is super talented, and all it takes is just that one Julio moment game where everything comes together, and that's it. And they're off and they're rolling. Like They still should have the best cornerback duo in the league. They don't. Their safety should still be kind of, a matchup nightmare for offenses. They aren't, but
Yeah.
the talent's there. Like this isn't like because bad players. Like
Right.
you can't fix bad players. You can fix the stuff that's messed up. It's just the coaching's got to show up. Like someone's got to make sure Marshawn's motivated every single game. Someone's got to, get Marcus Williams tackling somewhere.
Gosh, that thing. I think 22's been fine though.
He's had a couple coverage lapses too. He gave up the touchdown to Waller. Caden Ellis gave up the touchdown the same way. There were 2 of those in week 1 where he got caught watching the backfield and let a guy out. It's just someone, I don't know like what's going on, but everybody has their eyes in the wrong places, and that's got to get fixed.
It's and that's what it is. It's like it's these mental lapses that come at very unopportune times, right? Like you'll see a guy, and like I said, I think 22's have some. I mean, I've seen him make some tackles that were like, this guy's, he's good. Like, CD Deuce, he's a good football player. I mean, he is really good. But then you see a couple of mental lapses, and you're like, that offsets. Like for every one play you make, if you make one bad play, then that's not a good trade-off, and so you're just seeing so much of that.
I mean, Marshawn played a good game except for 2 mental lapses.
For 2 mental lapses.
Yeah,
exactly. And
he had a tackle on 3rd down. I think that it was a huge play. And
good point. But at the end of the day, we're not talking about those plays. We're talking about
those lapses are what changed the game. Yeah,
exactly. The Saints are beating themselves. You were looking at some Cam Jordan film, and I've seen some. The streets are talking about it. What's going on there?
$9 a month, NewOrleans.Football. Tomorrow.
Hey, I love it.
Tomorrow.
I love it.
I'm gonna keep that one talk.
No, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. Hey, listen, NewOrleans.Football /subscribe. Pick a tier. Pick a tier. So
in short, just as a teaser, I mean, I watch every snap last 2 seasons to see like how he's being defended differently.
Yeah, you guys check that out. NewOrleans.Football /subscribe. Pick a tier.
should be up Wednesday night, Thursday morning.
Yeah. Make sure you guys come out. You can listen to the pod and read the article back to back if you're getting this the next day. What do you think? Do you think they get this thing turned around? Right. We're gonna finish the topic on this. There's nothing important going on tonight at all. We just we're just gonna just try to. No one wants to listen to a 1-hour pod on the loss. So do you think that they get this turned around? I'm talking both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I do. I think they're just too talented of a team. I think the floor at this point, what are they right now? 1 and 2. I think the floor is probably 10 and 6. And I think that's probably being maybe even a little, and I hope I don't regret this, but that almost feels, that almost feels pessimistic. It feels like, when do they play Chicago? Week 8. It feels like they should be 5 and 2 going into that game.
Yeah. If that happens, this podcast will be like removed from like existence, by the way.
Oh yeah. We'll just cut the
no old hot takes exposed. Y'all not getting this. Y'all not getting this. Yeah. I think that they get this thing turned around. This sounds like this is crazy, but I think that, man, I'm probably going to end up. I just want to see what the defense looks like when they get Davenport back. If he's 100% healthy, there's this weird thing where when he's not playing, the defense is just totally different. We'll see. I'm not sure that's 100% it. And getting Onyemata back, I think, will help pretty soon. Onyemata had you guys go to the website. I'm not going to give you too much on this. Onyemata played well last week, and you guys can go read the film study on that if you haven't already. But I just think getting your second and third best defensive lineman back could help the defense, because I thought the strength of this team was the D line, to be honest with you. Healthy more so than the secondary, and that's saying a lot. But hopefully we'll get to see that soon.
Yeah, I mean, being without the best offensive player in the NFL, non-quarterback, and your second and third best defensive lineman is a big deal, and it's just something that like, I don't know, it's just weird. Like we don't talk about that stuff, and I don't think anybody deserves excuses. And the way they're playing, it isn't like, oh, they're playing well and this guy would have made a difference. Like, they're playing bad enough that maybe those guys wouldn't necessarily make a difference in some of these games with the way some of them have gone. But it does matter, and it, I think. In this one, maybe you get those couple pressures on Aaron Rodgers that change the game, and something happens. but there's no pressure at all. And it's just, he's just picking you apart the whole game. Davenport is going to make a difference in that Raiders game against the run. Like, again,
yeah, he's good at the run. Yeah,
we got this 100-yard stat, but it's a lie. Like, these games are going to get absorbed into it, and like it just isn't illustrative of what's actually happening. But look, the next 3 games: Detroit, Chargers, Panthers. Like,
that should be 3 wins, man.
And if they aren't, then maybe you got a problem.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And I remember there was times last year I saw like a guy maybe will be running open in the secondary, and there'd be a pressure there that'll cover for it, right? And so you're just not getting those breaks this year. So I mean, busted coverages they happen, but the talent usually covers for that stuff, and you hope to get it cleaned up in film. But nothing's going there where they're not getting calls. There have been some tick for tack pass interference calls. I thought the Packers, I don't know if it was a tight end, one of the guys pushed off. I thought it was an offensive pass interference.
Yeah. Mercedes Lewis,
yeah.
On Malcolm Jenkins, yeah.
That was a bad call. That brought him to like the goal line. So they're not getting their breaks this year. The breaks that they got this last year, they're not creating their own breaks, and the refs are not giving it to them. So I just think that, they got to get this thing turned around. I think the coaches, got to do better. Whoever needs to motivate cornerbacks to be shut down. There's a lot of things that needs to happen for them to turn around. But I think they will. If I had to get bet money, I would guess they would. And same with Drew. I think he's not going to become old Drew Brees again. But I said, hey, let's give him to week 4 to see where he is, to shake the rust off. And if he continues on the trajectory that he's on, just kind of playing a little bit better each game, I think that part will be fine enough for the talent around the team to make up the rest.
So. Yeah, I agree with that, man. If they don't beat, like, Detroit,
Matt Stafford scares me though, man. I don't know why.
I mean, if your secondary's not on point, he can sling it enough.
And Marvin Jones and Galladay will catch it.
I think that Marshawn's going to play well. I think he's going to take one of those guys out. Mm-hmm. At some point, Jenkins is going to stop committing PIs, and his value is going to show through. Like, that's the thing. Like, he's played so well in these games, and then it's just these like dumb mistakes. Like, he got targeted like 9 times. I don't have the number offhand, but it was like 9 times he gave up like 3 receptions for 20-some yards, and then but 2 PIs.
The PIs, yeah.
Yeah, and every game he had a long PI. I think against Tampa, if my memory serves correctly, he had a long PI against the Raiders. So it's just like, man, you gotta stop that. Like, just stop hooking arms. Don't hook the guy's arm. You can't do it.
And it's like you can't even argue the pass interference. It's so obvious. I'm like, dude,
you see it, like, the arms in there. Yeah, like, come on, man.
Yeah. I'm trying to look up his stats real quick, but I don't think it matters as much. But yeah, I'm with you, man. I just think that, like, this team is so good that they should not be giving up like these numbers that they're giving up, and like they just got to stop beating themselves. And you kind of hope you get some of the guys, who are your best players. You start getting those guys back, and then some of the things start to look a little bit better for you. So, yeah, man. I guess we'll see. Yeah, I just pulled up his coverage numbers, man. They do look. Yeah, he's covering when he's not. When he's not.
Oh yeah, he's covering great.
Yeah, when he's 59 receptions. Yeah, 22 targets, 13 receptions. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. I guess we got to find out, like, if he's getting away with some of those hooks on other plays. Like,
in that case, like, keep hooking.
Oh man,
dude, you can't make this stuff up, man. Hey guys, listen, go to NewOrleans.Football /subscribe, pick a tier. There is a Cam Jordan article coming out soon, so make sure you guys check that out. I think it's going to be pretty enlightening. So check that out. Make sure you follow Nick on Twitter at Nick_Underhill. Make sure you follow the NewOrleans.Football Twitter account at NODOT_Football. Follow NewOrleans.Football on Instagram at NewOrleans.Football. And if you're one of those, Apple Podcasts guys, just go there and put a nice little rating on there. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at Kevin Watts Jr. With that said, thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week. We out.